6 months ago, I made a video review of the Helen and Chen flat bottom wok. And I showed you guys how to do the initial cleaning and seasoning of the wok right out of the box. And then we compared it to the Taylor and Ing wok, where I basically said they were identical. Over the last 6 months, I've made a lot of great meals on this wok. And I've been getting a lot of questions asking me if I still recommend it, have I had any quality issues, and how has my seasoning developed for that non-stick coating? Well, here's my 6 months update on the Helen and Chen flat bottom wok. If you guys watched my first video, I highly recommended Grace Young's book on traditional Asian cooking using a wok. Well, I've definitely been going through her recipe book, from cooking delicious stir fries like beef and broccoli to a tasty shrimp and cashew nuts, and even deep frying and preparing orange chicken. We've made fried rice, we've made chow mein, basically all of the traditional Asian meals that you can think of. I definitely want to venture out further and do some of the more traditional Asian meals in the book. You know, the harder things, and really test this wok and take my cooking skills to the next level. So I can tell you right away, this wok acts just like the Taylor and Ing or any other carbon steel wok. It heats up evenly and effectively, and it's highly responsive to temperature changes. So if you have to make quick adjustments, it's going to respond and you can control your cooking. I absolutely love wok cooking, and the Helen and Chen wok doesn't disappoint. We've been impressed with all of our meals. They've came out exactly as described, and I feel like I've had great control over the cooks because the wok is high quality and responsive. And I'm a firm believer in carbon steel. So of course, for me, having a carbon steel wok is a big plus. And Grace Young in her book actually recommends a carbon steel wok over all the other materials and types of woks. So the next thing that I want to talk about and confirm is, how does it stand up to the Taylor and Ing? I was still getting a lot of questions on specifically the Helen and Chen versus the Taylor and Ing, even though I did my initial video. And I just wanted to clarify things. I really do think the Helen and Chen wok is literally a clone of the Taylor and Ing. And I'm not trying to say that they copied each other. I mean, I don't know which one came out first, but generally speaking, woks have the general wok shape. So that's what a wok looks like. But I have a feeling they probably both come from the same factory. I own the Taylor and Ing, I own the Helen and Chen. They're almost identical. And I don't see any difference in the cooking at all. They both perform exactly the same. So for me, in my opinion, save a few bucks and get the Helen and Chen. I've had the Taylor and Ing for a little over a year before I bought the Helen and Chen, and I can tell you that the Taylor and Ing gave me no problems. The initial factory wax came off just as easily as the Helen and Chen in my last video where I showed you guys how to clean it and season it. As long as you take care of these woks and you follow my instructions from the last video and properly dry them and lubricate them before storage, they'll last you forever. The Taylor and Ing never rusted on me, and it developed an amazing non-stick coating. The Helen and Chen is the exact same way. I think the Helen and Chen is a high quality wok, and it's definitely worth the value. Now that actually brings me to my next point. Well, let's talk about the seasoning. One of the biggest questions that I keep getting is, how has the seasoning and non-stick coating developed since I first did my initial review? I can tell you guys that the seasoning and non-stick coating is developing as it should, right on schedule, just like any other carbon steel skillet or wok would. I probably use this wok consistently 1 to 2 times a week. I have a lot of cookware and I own a lot of skillets. I like to cook all kinds of food, Italian, Mexican, Middle Eastern, and I love multicultural food. So I don't necessarily use the Helen and Chen wok every day because there's so many other skillets and cookware that I do use. And as you guys know, I do a lot of barbecuing. But I am consistently using the wok 1 to 2 times a week. So I feel like it's getting used pretty frequently, but the seasoning isn't developing as fast as it did with the Taylor and Ing, because at the time, the Taylor and Ing, I only owned a few things and I was using it probably 3 to 4 times a week. But the Helen and Chen is developing a really good seasoning. As you guys see here, the seasoning is darkening up and I'm getting a nice, consistent non-stick coating. You can see some scratches from the spatula. That's completely normal. The carbon steel skillet can take it, can handle it. You do not have to worry about any, artificial plastic nonstick coating getting scraped off or getting into your food. This is all natural with the carbon steel. And every time you cook and dry it and properly season it before storage, you're just adding on to that nonstick coating. So anything you do scratch gets coated over right away, and you keep developing that nonstick coating. So there's nothing really to worry about. I feel like with this wok, the nonstick coating developed instantaneously. In my initial video, I showed you guys how to do your initial seasoning. To be quite honest with you guys, it was basically non-stick right after I did the potato peel method, and it's continued to be non-stick ever since. So I'm not really too concerned about the non-stick coating. I have it already, and it's been non-stick for the last 6 months. And then the more you use it, the better it gets. Okay, what about any issues? Have I had any quality issues with the wok? To be quite honest with you guys, not really. The only thing that I can complain about in the last 6 months is the helper handle. The helper handle has become a bit loose, and I think in my initial review, I might have expressed my concerns with the helper handle. I'm not too worried about it. The wok is riveted where it should be, and the main handle has been nice and sturdy and tight because it is screwed on with, the end screw. But the helper handle has become a little bit loose, and from what I could tell, it's not the rivets, it's the actual wood itself. So let me show you guys what I mean. I have the wok right here, and the helper handle does have a little bit of movement. It's not the rivets of the handle, it's just the wood. So when you do go to grab it and get your food out or whatever it is that you're trying to do, it does tend to rotate on you. It kind of just jitters a bit and takes you by surprise. Again, that's really nitpicking, and I don't think it's going to deteriorate any worse than that. I can't remember if it's always been loose like that. It's not a big issue, but compared to the Taylor & Ing, the Taylor & Ing's helper handle has been perfect. It's not loose, and I can't feel it rotating or wobbling on. Just something that I wanted to point out. For those of you that have bought the Helen & Chen flat bottom wok, leave me a comment below. Is your helper handle a little bit loose? Does it kind of rotate on you? I honestly can't remember if it came like that straight from the factory, so it'd be really cool to see if you guys are having the same issue. Other than that, I have no problems with rust. Rust is completely up to you as the user. It's a carbon steel wok. Just like cast iron, you have to make sure it's completely dry before storing it. Just like I showed you guys in my first initial review, you gotta make sure you put it back on the stovetop, evaporate all the water, and then when that happens, add a light coating of oil and just wipe it all the way around and make sure the entire wok is coated before storing it away. Never ever leave your wok in the sink or have any foods or liquids in it overnight. It will rust. You as the cook, as the chef, should definitely maintain your equipment. It's a great wok, and just like any other carbon steel cookware, it's gonna last a lifetime. Another thing that I have to mention is Grace Young's book. I really can't stress enough, guys. I highly recommend it. If this is your first wok or you're just getting into wok cooking or Asian foods, definitely pick up any one of her books. I really think her books are well organized with a complete list of ingredients, and she gets straight to the point of how to prep the meals and cook them. I love that she gives a brief history on some of the dishes, and she'll even bring in other guests to kind of give a background about the dishes or give a brief history of the tradition behind the dish. And I really like that. I love reading the history behind a dish. And I also think she's very thorough. In the beginning of the book, she goes into incredible details of how to take care of a wok, season it, cleaning it, how to prep meats, how to find essential Asian ingredients and where to get them, how to know if your ingredients are fresh from the market and whether or not you should pass up on them. She even goes over basic techniques like knife handling, how to slice certain vegetables, how to dice onions, and basic cooking techniques like searing. The book is really thorough and I highly recommend it. I haven't went through all of the recipes. I'm definitely trying my best to kind of venture out and do some of the more advanced Asian meals. There's some stuff in there that's definitely interesting and I want to try. I've done most of the traditional stir-fry things, and admittedly the stuff that you'd find at like Panda Express or, you know, a typical Chinese American restaurant. But I do want to try the more traditional and original Asian meals, which she has in her book. Again, for me, I'm always pushing myself to become a better cook. So if I can learn it, and if I can learn how to do it traditionally, originally, and well, then I feel like I've really gained something. I think she has 3 books out there and they all have great reviews, so you really can't go wrong. But I feel like, especially if this is your first wok or you're just getting into Asian cooking, you know, you should have a good book that you can reference. I can also tell you that once you've done 3 or 4 recipes, you'll kind of take it from there. You'll learn how to set up your cooks, and then you'll venture out on your own and tweak some of the ingredients to really create your own dish. I've done that multiple times, where, for example, I've noticed that she had a chicken cashew nut recipe. Well, I swapped out the chicken for shrimp and it was a huge hit. Or she may have something like a beef broccoli and a lamb and green onions, where I'll combine it into a beef broccoli with green onions. After a while, you'll start feeling comfortable and understanding the fundamentals of Asian cooking, and then you'll start creating your own dishes. So definitely check it out for yourself and try some of her recipes. I think they're fantastic and you guys won't regret it. Another really popular question I get is, how is the stainless steel spatula holding up after 6 months? And it's doing just fine. That's a really good spatula. I don't have any rust issues. The stainless steel is high quality. The only thing I would improve on is just making it a tad bit longer and a tad bit wider. And some of you guys will know what I mean. When you're really in the zone and you're doing multiple cooks, especially when doing like fried rice, and like any other high heat cooking, like barbecuing or wok cooking, the longer your tools are, the less you're in the heat. It really is nitpicking, but if the spatula was a bit longer and a bit wider, it'd be perfect.
Like, ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ayy, coming down like precipitation. I ain't never met a limitation. Hater plotting my elimination. Gotta go to Google for the information. I'm a superstar, so I gotta shine. Top dollar be the bottom line. Bottom feeding out of line. Turn your heart rate to a dotted line. Yeah, my zodiac probably dollar sign. Got the energy to win in my I'm feeling great. Got a date with destiny, focusing on my fate. I don't give a f what you rapping, you been a fake. I'm everything that they ain't, it can't be, it won't be. Wanna see me fall, I can't go, I won't leave. Coming from the block with plain clothes and police. Straight up to the top with bankrolls and rollies. Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal,
So
right?
after 6 months, do I still recommend the Helen Chen flat bottom wok? The answer is yes. I think for the majority of people out there, I would even recommend the Helen and Chen wok over the Taylor and Ing. And really for 2 reasons. One, the price and the value of the Helen and Chen wok is exceptional. And I really do think it's probably coming from the same factory that the Taylor and Ing is. And the second reason being that the Taylor and Ing is usually out of stock and you can't get it anyways. They both offer the same accessories and value. Helen and Chen gives you a lid and I think a wooden spatula. And I think Taylor and Ing does the same exact thing. So if you guys are looking for a new wok, the Taylor and Ing is a great wok, but the Helen and Chen is readily available on Amazon and it's the same thing. If you're on the fence about buying this wok, don't be. It's been 6 months, the carbon steel is fantastic, the materials used are high quality, it's developing an amazing seasoning and non-stick coating, and of course, it's going to handle all of your favorite recipes. And I guarantee you, it's going to be something that you're going to pass on to your kids one day. So, after 6 months, I still highly recommend the Helen and Chen flat bottom wok. That's it for me, guys. Take care, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Hey everybody. How'd you guys like that last video? Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified on my next video. And if you can, please share with your family and friends. I would really appreciate it. Here's some more content that I think you guys are really gonna enjoy. Check them out. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care.